3.
It just could have been.
We're back with some technical difficulties. It seems we got them sorted out.
We'll
So
see.
hopefully this podcast will be there. If
Yeah.
not, we're sorry. We'll see you next week.
We tried.
Yeah, that's true. We can just record. We have one good one.
Apparently.
That'd be fine.
So
It all
anyway,
comes out in the wash.
I'm still learning how to do these podcasts. I have a good time doing them, and
Still learning. We're like, this is 80.
I know,
No.
but there's still things that I don't quite understand.
This is not 89.
We're 90 something, aren't we?
This will be 96.
Is this our 100th episode?
100th is coming up.
It's coming up. We should go big for our 100.
Throw a party.
Yeah.
I'll
We
get
should
the-
go on
I'll
location
get
somewhere.
The 100,
Yeah.
the 100 glasses.
Yeah.
I think the church will pay for us to fly us somewhere for our 100th episode.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
I don't think so either.
Let's try, though.
Yeah.
Hey, we can get a beach trip out of it, right?
Drive ourselves.
They're like, we don't care what you do.
Yeah. You guys are still doing that? We thought you quit a while ago.
No, a couple more weeks till 100.
I'm actually though pretty excited with us because we have stuck with this, and it seems to be something that is somewhat continuing to grow. You know what I'm saying? It just we press forward. It's
Yeah. Levi watches.
Thanks, Levi. Hey, bud.
Levi watches.
and I enjoy doing it. I really do.
I want ChatGPT to write a script for a redeemed episode.
Get on that.
Levi.
Oh, okay. Levi, get on that.
I don't feel like doing it.
Oh.
It just made me chuckle when he did the Job's net worth.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Thought that was pretty cool. Job
He was worth a lot.
was
Yes, he
making
was.
money moves.
Yes, he was. Especially after all that was done with. He got back everything he lost and then some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So on this episode, we're still in Ephesians. We're just kind of walking through it here. We're still in the 5th chapter. We're gonna a little bit in the 5th, a little bit in the 6th. But they have some instructions, and blah blah. Paul writes some instructions, and of course, Paul's just transferring what he feels like God's telling him.
Yeah.
And if it's in here, I would say that is exactly what God wants said. So when I say Paul, it's really God
Speaking through Paul.
Yeah, speaking through Paul. And so God lays down some instructions for the Christian household, which I think is extremely important. Because one of the things I feel like is struggling in our world today is the family. Mm-hmm. Okay? We have the roles all out of place, and we have... The list just goes on and on. I could speak for hours where I think that the household is breaking down. And there's some pretty clear instructions here about how that family should be set up.
Yeah. Yes.
And of course, there's some controversial terms in here as well. They tends to get people a little worked up when it says, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord, and that always stirs up some confrontation, which I understand. You know what I'm saying? But we take it out of context and we put it in interpretation like the man is supposed to be ruler over the woman. That's not what's going on here.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not what Paul's saying here.
No, exactly. And it just basically it's saying that the man is the head of the household. He's responsible for making sure everything's running the way it should be. Does that make sense? And that's a big responsibility. And
yeah, it says, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. So, big responsibility.
Big responsibility, because we're the ones basically that we're supposed to be the spiritual leaders in our house.
Yes.
And so if we're not doing that, there's a bigger responsibility on us that we're screwing up.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so it's like, I'd rather have the submit part. You know what I'm saying?
Tradesies.
Yeah. And it says here, and then it continues on to talk about how husbands love your wife just as Christ loved the church. Once again, that's a big responsibility, because if you look at how Christ loved the church, how he loved the church, by golly, he gave his own and only son to die for it.
Sacrificially.
Literally died.
He literally died. So, I mean, that's a big shoes to fill from the aspect of love your wife as Christ loved the church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it paints a very clear picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As well. There's no, again, Paul, not a lot of beating around the bush. Very clear instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to understand that, Paul.
Mm-hmm. And then you keep talking about, and you can continue on with the responsibilities of the husband, as it says to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word. That's a big one for me. I was reminded once again that I have fallen short there greatly. That I have not been. We don't spend enough time in the Word together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where we're constantly just studying, and I was reminded once again, it's like you're falling short there. You know, you got to get yourself back to having those moments with her, praying and reading the Word. You know what I'm saying? I was falling short again. It's like, dadgummit, you know, I need to read this every single day.
Yeah.
To remind myself where the standard is and to make sure I come up to that standard. Saturation. Yeah. And then it says to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. I mean, that's a huge responsibility. Yeah. And it says that he's supposed to love his wife as he loves himself. I mean, those are heavy concepts, and it's a different kind of understanding of love than what so many of people do today. You know what I'm saying? People categorize love or at least in my mind, so often today with just feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm in love with this person. He makes me feel happy. It's like love is so much more than that.
Way deeper.
Yeah. And I think if we had a clear concept of what love was, which the definition that we've always gone with is one that I learned way back when I was in youth training, was that it's self-sacrifice for the good of the individual loved. And I just thought that was the absolute best definition I've ever heard about love. And that's what it's really about. It's my sacrificial love for that other person. You know what I'm saying? My self-sacrifice. And really, if it weren't for my family, I wouldn't do half the stuff I do. You know what I'm saying? I get up and go to work every day. Why? Because I want to provide for that family. I want to support my family. It's just, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's that self-sacrifice. And then if you continue on, then it talks about the children. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. It says, to what? Honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with the promise, so that it may go well with you, that you may enjoy long life on earth. And then fathers, do not exasperate your children, instead bring them up in training and instruction of the Lord. That's another good one. I'm pretty good at exasperating my children. I shouldn't be, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes, as we've discussed on many other opportunities, I don't always think before I speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm trying very hard to also focus on the things that they do right and compliment those. It's like
positive reinforcement.
Right. Because I'm real quick to point out the things they're doing wrong.
Right.
But I'm not as quick as to point out the things that
do right.
Yeah, that they do right. Like my oldest today, he surprised the heck out of me. I was very proud of him. We were working on putting the tarp on our travel trailer, and he came out without being asked, without being told, and he just jumped in and started helping. He was running those ropes underneath the trailer and helping us lock them in together.
Nice.
Get the little people.
Yeah, and it was fantastic because I'm getting old. I don't
crawl
like
underneath.
Yeah, I had to crawl underneath, and he had no problem doing it. It was awesome, and I was able to tell him that he did a good job, and that he did it in such a way that he wasn't underfoot. He wasn't doing what he wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
He was a help, and you should have seen how happy he was with that compliment. And I need to do more of that. You know what I'm saying? It's the training, it's the building up, not just exasperating my children, thinking that there's a standard they'll never be able to come up to. And so, like I said, I should read these 2 chapters every stinking day of my life.
I thought the same thing after I read them.
Yeah. Because it would put my mind in the right mindset to where I know what I should be doing. Yeah. And I mean, and he goes on to say that, I mean, he talks about, because during that time, you know, they had slaves. It says, slaves, obey your earthly masters. I mean, he just goes on and on about just the way things should be. And then he goes on and talks about the masters. Masters should what? Treat their slaves in the same way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's laying out what it looks like from a Christian perspective of way a family and things should work. And it's just something, obviously, that everybody can work on.
Yes.
But as redeemed Christians, the lesson here I want to pull is that we get confused sometimes and we get things out of order when it comes to the family. You know what I'm saying? And now part of that is, like I said, there are some things that are messed up. Like, I don't believe men are being the men that they need to be today. You know what I'm saying? The idea of taking on responsibility and doing that. A lot of times they will do it, but it takes them a long time to get there. You know what I'm saying? They're still stuck in this kind of this adolescence. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. And part of it is for me, my dad had a pretty high standard of what a man should be. And so I made that transition fairly early in life, and just never look back on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping I can do the same thing for my kids. Is this is what a man is supposed to do, and when I mean man, I mean a man who's supposed to follow Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not just you need to be a man. No. I'm talking about the standard that God has set out for the man to follow.
Exactly.
And so I think there's just so much here in this chapter that we can learn from, especially as redeemed Christians, to make sure we keep things in the right perspective and in the right order. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think, like I said, I just need to go back and to reread this on a daily basis because I need to be reminded of how I'm supposed to love my wife, how I'm supposed to treat my children. You know what I'm saying? And if I do those things, what are the benefits that I will reap from that? You know what I'm saying? Because then they are going to want to obey me. They are going to want to listen to me. They are going to want to, my kids, to do the things that is expected of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was just a big push for me to get back to, once again, the basics of what I know about Christianity and to put my family back in the way it's supposed to be.
Strengthen the family unit.
Yeah. Because I think the devil is trying everything he can to tear the family unit down because he doesn't want my kids to turn out. He doesn't. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do everything he can because he doesn't want my kids to be Christians. He doesn't want them to be warriors for the Lord. Mm-hmm. And so that, once again, with that in mind too, it just showed me once again how important it is to make sure I put everything in the correct order. Yeah. So I hope that you will do the same, especially if you're a redeemed Christian. Oh my goodness, we've got to get this right. So anyway, y'all guys have a good one. We'll see you next time.